loosen the ball and ram it down in there again. And we stood there and Dad got ready. None of us thought about the fact that Carissa wasn't around. We figured she'd gotten bored. He put his finger on the trigger. Dad had the target lined up. Things got quiet. Suddenly, from behind us came a wall of sound. It was a voice, but none of us had said it. It had presence. It pushed against us. And Dad took his finger off the trigger, and out from behind the target stepped Carissa. She had been, she said, looking through a hole in the target. Her head was where the bullseye was. The next bullet would have gone through there. And my knees just turned to water. Dad turned pale. The rifle came down. Automatically, we knew instantly what would have happened to her if she hadn't stepped out from behind the target, or if the voice hadn't happened. It was a miracle that my little girl was not dead. She would have been gone. We wouldn't have had Carissa anymore.
What was the sound the Bilbrays heard? Who called out to them in a voice like thunder that gave them the sense of danger? Everyone present that day heard the voice. In another remarkable event, attested to by both mother and daughter, there was complete silence, but a presence was both seen and felt.
My daughter Shannon was 3 years old when her stepfather and I married. We moved into a small two-bedroom house in Angleton and became a very close family in a very short time.
Okay, ready for bed? Let's go. Give Dad a hug and a kiss.
One evening, I put Shannon to bed at her usual time, and shortly thereafter, David and I went to bed. I checked on her before we went to bed, and everything seemed fine. I hadn't been asleep very long when I felt a gentle tugging at my nightshirt. I turned over to see that David was sound asleep. The tugging became more intense, and all of a sudden I was out of the bed and I was being physically pushed from behind. I discovered that she had the mini blind cord wrapped several times around her neck, and her breathing was impaired. I immediately unwrapped the cord from her neck, and she began to cry and breathe normally, so I knew that she was okay. She was crying, of course, obviously upset. I sat at the edge of the bed and held her and comforted her until she stopped crying and could go back to sleep. I, at that point, of course, went and got a pair of scissors, cut the mini blind cord where she couldn't play with it again during the night. When I knew she was okay, I sat at the edge of the bed, wondering what compelled me to be there and how I had gotten to her bedside.
So, who was that lady in the room last night?
The next morning, she started asking me questions about the events of the night before. One of her questions was, who was that lady in the room with you last night? I was startled for a moment, and I asked her, what do you mean, what lady? And she said, the lady standing behind you. At that moment, I questioned her, who was the lady, or what did the lady look like? Did she look like your grandma's? Did she look like anyone you knew? And she said no, that she just knew that the lady was there to help us.
The problem in trying to prove the accuracy of these stories, of course, is that these tiny encounters with angels always seem to occur in isolation. But suppose two people shared the same experience, even though they had no physical or family connection. And suppose the story was unwittingly covered by an author and TV producer who could not have known the outcome. What does the Bible say about the possibility of such an encounter? The word angel comes from the Greek word angelos and the Hebrew word malach, both of which literally mean messenger. But according to the New Testament, the duties of angels are more inclusive than that.
The New Testament largely endorses and underlines the Old Testament description of angels. Although the book of Hebrews defines the angel as both a messenger of God and as a minister to man. The word minister comes from the Greek word diakonia, which literally means serviceable laborer or assistant. There is very little in the way of a direct description of the angelic form. Hebrews 13 tells us angels can take on the form of a typical human being. But there are also biblical references to a lustrous countenance or apparel, suggesting an awesome beauty which is not of this world.
As the skeptic once said, exceptional claims require exceptional proof. And the author-producer of a TV series and book based on real-life experiences found an astonishing surprise in his mailbox one morning. What you are about to see has never been made public until now.
I produced a television series called Miracles and Other Wonders. Later, I wrote a book as a follow-up to the series. In the book, I tell the story of a young mother, Lillian Harper. She saw her 5-year-old son struggling to escape the wheels of a delivery truck parked in a neighbor's driveway. There was no one in the truck, and it was creeping slowly backwards toward the boy. He tried to get out of the way, but he was too small. Lillian barely weighed 100 pounds, but she rushed to the back of the truck, praying for help. It seems impossible, but she was able to hold the truck, then actually move it forward, giving her son time to escape. She told us that whatever strength she had used to move that truck had not come from her. She had sensed a powerful presence there helping her. I included that story in my book. Later, I received a letter from someone called Darlene. She had read my book and wrote that she had witnessed the entire event with the help of an angel. Here's the letter, just as she wrote it.
I'm 44, married with 2 boys, 13 and 15. I don't smoke, don't drink, don't take medicine or drugs. I'm just your average person. I have dreams like everybody else, and I can, by now, tell the difference between dreams and reality. But one night, I had a dream so very real, it affected me for a long time. In my dream, I was suddenly looking up into a beautiful sky, blue with a few fluffy clouds. Then a small pinpoint of very bright white light started to appear between the clouds. The light grew brighter until it began to beam or shine down. Out of the light, an area grew brighter, and I began to make out a form, and it became a wonderful angel. She floated in the sky, but she had a serious look of concern on her face, and she kept pointing down. She wanted me to look down, so I did. When I looked down, a scene was concentrated on a small area, seemingly in black and white with dim light. I saw a young boy by himself. There was a parked truck. Nobody was in the truck. The little boy was near the back of the truck. In my dream, the truck was parked. All of a sudden, I saw the truck rolling backwards. Everything seemed to intensify at that moment. I looked back at the little boy, and he was in the way of the wheels of the truck. It was obvious he would be hit unless he got out of the way or the truck stopped. I kept yelling for somebody to stop the truck, and I ran to the front, but nobody was in the truck. So I raced to the back of the truck and prayed for the little boy to be able to get up out of the way. Then, with all my might, I stood behind the truck, focusing my will, trying to stop the truck myself. for some reason, I was not able to touch the little boy or the truck. The event had to play itself out, but somehow I knew what I was doing was important. My help was needed and urgent. It was as if my energy was being used somehow. The next instant, the little boy is up out of the way and the truck is stopped. Right away, I'm back in the bright sky with the angel. She never spoke, but I knew she was thanking me. She disappeared into the blue sky. I called out after her, "Come back! Please come back!" I woke up, still whispering the words, "Come back." This was such a powerful dream. I know for certain it was real. I don't know when or where this happened. Time doesn't seem to matter. What is important is that little boy is safe.
So far as I know, this is the only instance of two people living hundreds of miles apart being able to confirm what seems to be a mutual angelic experience. It seems that angels do have the power to use caring individuals in their work. And in this particular case, we were given an unexpected glimpse into the power that angels have.
Is it possible to identify exactly who or what angels are, or why they take an interest in us at all? Probably not. But Herbert Lockyer, a 19th century theologian, said, "Every believer should be personally interested in learning all that can be known concerning the character, attributes, and qualifications of these celestial spirits." Who knows? One of the angels in these stories may just reach out to a believing heart and change an unbelieving mind. It's something to think about.